everyone, and welcome to Stuntin. My name is Diana. I am the communications manager for Fimi Market Inc. It is indeed my pleasure to be talking to Troydel Wallace today, he's one of our Genesis artists. Welcome to Stuntin, Troydel. How are you?
Thank you. It's good to be here. Thank you for having me on your show tonight.
Where in the world are you?
I'm in Toronto.
Okay, lovely. So for those of us who are not familiar with Troydel's work, I must say I am in love with your work. When our CEO Miguel showed me Goody,
Ah,
I fell in love with Goody because I feel like she's my spirit woman. I mean, just with the Aki and the what was it? It's not a CD, but it's a record,
the
right?
record, yeah, a classic 70s record.
Yeah, I loved it. I loved it. So, tell us about your journey into art. Like, when did you start? When did you know you were an artist?
So that's a good question. There's a very good question, Diane. So I've been drawing since I was a kid, to be honest. It has been a very passionate downtime for me. So it built from there. I've had influences in my life. There were people in my family who were creative as well, who also inspired that journey, the early development of my life. But it was also encouraged because it was like a skill set that was very outstanding amongst kids my age. So I was more inclined to participate in art projects. At that time, I really didn't see it as much, but all I knew is that I just loved doing it. And it was something that really brought me to a very happy place. Until when I was like a teenager, I started to do more art for pay, whereas, I get small commissions now and then to work on small little projects here and there. And it got me thinking maybe this could be a full-time lucrative career direction for me. So after high school, I had to make the decision, do I go to art school or do I go to UTech? Of course, I never knew anything about art school before until my amazing art teacher decided to take us on a field trip to Edna, which is the best art school in the Caribbean. And then my eyes was open from there. And then that's when I made a decision that this is the direction I wanted to go. This is the journey I wanted to take. Of course, entering Edna, you no longer realize that you're not the only creative there. There's like so many extremely talented people. And it's no longer about you doing art, but finding your voice, your direction, and what you want to do as an artist. So I went there majoring in graphic designing, but I decided I wanted to push illustrations because I felt like that was more something I'm extremely passionate about and what brings me joy. So I did a gut check and I decided to go with what makes me feel good.
Nice.
At my point, I thought it was a challenge right there to go in that route, but a risk, I should say, to go in that route. But it was rewarding because throughout the creative journey, I've learned a lot of lessons. I've made a lot of personal development as an artist as well. It came with a exploration with art styles, and also it came from the voice as to what I want to communicate to people, what I want people to feel when they take the takeaway from that artwork. What's the feeling that they leave? And it led me to this art style where I felt like this is the journey that I want to go on. This is where I want to go. Like, I love people looking at work and having a personal, intimate connection to it, that they can see themselves in it in the best lighting. And it has been a very amazing journey from then. I started developing more, pushing more of that art style back in 2015. Before I was more on the traditional side of illustration, but I started to become more on the contemporary, more of the exploration and more of the personal aspect of it. And then I started delving in the gold style illustration because I said to myself, I want to create an illustration that can resonate how I feel and connect with people, but it also has to be so unique to the point that people can look and see and know who did it without a signature. So that one direction started to grow more, I started to experiment, I started to ask for opinions from other artist friends, get feedback. There's a lot of challenges, a lot of no, this won't work, a lot of yes, this will work. And then it was the big reveal, the most sensitive and stressful part, putting it out there and getting people's feedback.
Yeah.
The artist is very nerve-wracking when you put your work out there. You don't know what their feedback is. You don't know if people are gonna like it or people are gonna just absolutely hate it. But you put
Yeah,
it
I wanted to, all right. I just wanted to back up a bit because there are a couple of things that you said that I think it's so important, especially to young artists and people who are actually finding their way. So you talked about when you went to Edna Manley and you were surrounded by so many creatives that you had to find your own voice. Can you speak a little bit more about that? Like, when was that moment, or what was that journey like when you were surrounded by all these amazing creative people and you realized that, how do I stand out? And what was that voice? What was that voice saying to you?
Yeah, that's a good point, Diana. That when I came there, I came to the realization that I was living in a bubble my entire life. Um,
Mm-hmm.
um, I came from a background where you were a bit above the rest, and people kind of gave you that acknowledgement and praise for it. And then you go to a school filled with special people, and you're no longer special. You're no longer the one that stands out.
Talk
So
about being humbled.
very humbled.
Yeah.
So, but what I liked about interacting with all of these amazing, talented people was that they all had their own unique traits, their own personality, their own flair, their own interests. Everyone was good, but everyone specialized in something. And I said, okay, this is where I can no longer say I'm just a talented artist, but I have to become an artist that is known for something. So that's when I started to realize it's not about how good you are, it's about what you offer. And what you offer has to be a direct reflection of who you are, because the most unique thing is you as a person. And once, like I said before, it can be a little nerve-wracking to make yourself vulnerable like that, because any artist who make their art an extension of themselves is putting themselves out there every day, basically naked, for everybody to lynch them accordingly. So it requires a lot of confidence. It requires a lot of you need to have a tough skin. You need to also be very passionate about what you do, and you also need to be very bold. So,
Yeah. And
yeah.
it sounds like introspection has been a part of that journey as well. I mean, I don't know what artist's journey isn't complete without introspection, because you spoke about a gut check, as you started to pump out those works and starting to get people to, give you their opinions on your work. So let's talk about that juxtaposition where you're doing your gut check, right? And then people are coming to you with their own opinions. Like, where was the sweet spot, so to speak?
That sweet spot. That's a good question, Diana. That's a very good question. So it is a very interesting thing when someone say they're doing a gut check, because a lot of the time people really don't know what really is right, or in maybe they do know what is right, but they are too afraid to really put it out there. And if I'm honest, the first time I put it out there, which was within the creative space with my peers, I got lynched hard.
Yeah.
I got lynched
Yeah.
hard.
What were they saying? What were they saying?
They were like, I don't really think this works. This is a little boring. This doesn't really, those reasons speak to you. I had a friend who's like, did you even use reference when you're doing these? And I'm like, I was like, I'll take the punches.
Oh, harsh.
I,
Yeah, that's some. That's some tough things. That's tough to hear when you're literally putting your heart out there and people are like, did you use a reference?
But that the
Yeah.
harsh, you have to accept the harsh criticism if you want to grow. So I said I wanted to grow as an artist, so I took the harsh criticisms, and I just kept pushing because I think the claim to fame for me was really the resilience and the passion. Kept going. You get knocked down, you just get back up and you just keep pushing, you keep creating, because you only get better the more you do it. So I find a lot of artists who take the time to perfect their craft, however, whatever they choose to do, refine it, perfect it, take the criticism and grow. They're the most successful.
For sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's never overnight success. It's a gradual build. It's a slow, steady climb, but you got to put in the work to get up there. Yeah.
So how do you define your style now?
I've defined my style is a mixture between it is more futuristic now. It originally started with the appreciation of the natural beauty of the Jamaican culture. I integrated a lot of that in my art style, but I now started to think this art needs to be something everybody from the BIPOC, well, BIPOC would be the wrong word, the African diaspora can connect to. Not everyone is Jamaican. So, yeah. So I started to look more along the line of Afrofuturism, which was, I'm also a huge advocate for change and inspiration. And I felt that Afrofuturism was like an avenue that I could use my artwork for a lot of good. A lot of people sometimes, they don't really see representation. You don't really see a lot of Black brilliant scientists or engineers or pioneers, because you look into these sci-fi films, which I'm heavily big on fantasy.
Yeah.
But you see the representation, you see people that look like you can say, hey, I could be that, I could be the next pioneer in technology or medicine. You just need to see someone who's a fictional character to represent that. So I said, I'm not really into film or stuff like that. I'm more of a fine art illustrator. How can my artwork show that? So where I'm at now, it's still Caribbean for sure, because I am Jamaican and that's never going to change. So it's good. I'm always going to bring yard wherever I go. In fact, a mentor of mine told me, wherever you go in the world, make sure you represent yard, because that's when you stand out. That will never change.
Yeah.
But I'm also now delved more into the more wild fantasy side of things. It has always been fantasy really, but it's just incorporating more stuff, but it's still geared towards the African community, of course, for sure. Most of my subjects are within that realm, and the use of gold is still symbolic of what it used to represent value in people of color and all that kind of stuff. So that will never change.
I totally love the gold elements, because especially when I went further on into your page and saw just the gold throughout, and it just said to me royalty, it's royalty, and it's not understated at all, because as people of color, we have the right to take up space, right, to claim what is ours on this earth. I want to take it back, because I just remembered something, that the first time I actually came across your work was when I was living in Jamaica and I bought water. And I looked at this water bottle and I was like, how amazing is this? And then I started collecting them and here we are, 5 years later, I'm talking to artists of like some of the most really, really iconic. To me, it's just like, it was really wonderful seeing Jamaican culture on this, on this water bottle. So can you tell us a little bit about how that happened?
Yeah, so I was working that time I was freelancing, I cut ties with all agencies and I was just doing my thing. They saw my work, they approached me and they said, we liked your work. I think they saw it from the 2017 exhibition I did in the National Gallery. And they said, okay, we like your style. I think it really works well with what we're envisioning. We're gonna give you the direction to represent what Jamaica is all about. And then I had full creative liberty to, of course, I had the theme, the first running theme of what Jamaica, we broke it down into what Jamaica is really known for. We're known for our amazing food. We're known for our great athletes, our beautiful landscapes, and our amazing culture and music. So it was just so easy from there. Like, I'm Jamaican, I'm passionate about my people, I'm passionate about the representation. It was just so easily executed to showcase what we're about on that. And I'm grateful that people resonated so well with it.
Yeah. I mean, it was just something that was so different, and, we love to see ourselves as human beings. We love to see ourselves represented in art. I mean, it was just like a knowing. And I was like, why aren't we doing more of this? And there hasn't been one since you.
Yeah. I guess I need to go back to Jamaica and say, hey, what's up? What's going on?
I know of a few chocolate companies that could use your help.
I was like, yeah, so let them come. I was like, hey, you need me to kind of elevate you a little bit? Of course.
Yeah, of course. So fast forwarding now, and so you have entered the realm of NFTs. So how has that been for you?
It's been a very interesting journey. I started delving in NFTs last year. Of course, I was very cautious about it because at first I was like, what is an NFT? What is it about? Where's the value in an NFT? But the only takeaway that I appreciated from NFT is that it started creating a lot of opportunities for a lot of creatives. It became an avenue where a lot of creatives can now make money and actually occupy certain spaces. Before, art was considered something that was reserved for the elite class of people, for success art. If you're not that kind of artist, then what are you being an artist for? But now it's like an evenly leveled playing field where anyone who is passionate, who actually can create content and love what they do, can actually generate revenues. And I was like, finally, the time has come.
Yeah.
So in my journey, I started to see NFTs differently, because where NFTs are heading now is a lot less about the value of the work and it's more about the community at whole. So I think there's like a two difference. Like, for instance, most NFTs on Foundation, people buy into NFTs based on the quality of the work. If this artwork took like 8 hours to 2 days to get done, someone will see that and say, hey, I will buy this. And that is beautiful, because then it's a free auction inside where, you can stand a chance as a creator to actually make money from it. And then you have the Web3 metaverse side of NFTs, where it's a lot less about the art and more about the tokens. So you have a lot of projects now that create these non-fungible tokens in these spaces. And
for utility.
It's basically the utility and the whales and the community. That is it. But any artist who's you just need to, even if you're a good artist, you build a strategy, you build a community, you can still be very successful in NFT space, like Cool Cats and Bored Ape Yap Club, like Invisible Friends. Like, those people are just very committed to their community, and now they're like making a lot. So I think for any artist who's trying to delve into the NFT space, they need to try to figure out what kind of NFT collector or artist they want to be. Are they going to be more of the metaverse NFT artists, or just going to be one of those artists selling digital art as NFT? Either way, it's a win. You just have to be very, very sure you know which direction you're going, and then you just push your effort there to achieve it.
Awesome.
I've minted on Foundation because I consider myself as a digital artist. Not really. I suck at marketing. Like I don't have the time. I just don't have the time to be talking and this. So
yeah,
I'm more on the digital side of things. Like I'll create good work, good content. I'll market it. If you like it, then you buy it for sure.
right.
But I'm starting to understand that with the more meta side of things, the value, you have to be committed to the community. You can't, people call it rugging, you know, like a cash club, you get a rug, you just drop something, you collect your gun, and then you like
it's kind of volatile. They're real deadly with it sometimes, you know.
These collectors are deadly.
Yeah, because you know, when you look at it, a lot of it NFTs are flex, you know. The flex. So, you know, if I have a Bored Ape, or if I have a CryptoPunk as my avatar, then that allows me access into the upper echelons of the metaverse, and you know, utility, all of that. So so you as a Fimi Genesis artist now, why have you chosen to be on our marketplace, and what will we have to look forward from in terms of what collection? Is it just a drop? Like, give us a little something.
So I'm definitely with Fimi because representing Yard is always going to be there. I cannot overlook a company like Fimi Genesis that's doing something that amazing and not be a part of it. So that's just hands down. As it goes to drops, I am still debating if I'm just going to be one of those artists who just put out those collections right there and say, here it is. Or am I going to be like, coming soon, 50, 20 collections done. So it's like that fine line in between. But I'm glad I'm here with Fimi. Fimi has been very good in terms of if I have any questions. The chat rooms are pretty active. The artists is a very good community where artists can communicate and share ideas and that kind of stuff. And I think that's the winning factor there. It's a space for people of color or people of the Caribbean community who are in the NFT space. Because right now the NFT space is heavily guarded by, you know, not so people of color right now, but you know, I'm pretty sure we're pushing into that space. And and I love the fact that we're building a community, and that's what's going to make us successful. So that is why I'm all here for Fimi. And as it goes for the drop, just keep an ear to the ground. You'll find out what Troydel is planning on doing.
All right, Troydel, that sounds amazing. Thank you so much for your time tonight. Thank you so much for rocking with us at Fimi Market. And we will definitely look forward out for your drops. More gold, please, more gold.
Oh, always. More gold, all gold.
All right, Troydel, give thanks. Now, thank you for tuning in to Stuntin. I am your host, Diana. Thank you, Troydel, for your time.
Thank you for having me, Diana.
See you next time on the next episode of Stuntin.
All right, bye.
Bye.